Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Pink Flamingo. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, new subscriber, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all of the support, guys. So we're going to be doing a royal reading. Now, I decided to do a royal reading kind of a cross between Princess Diana and Catherine, just somewhat look at the similarities. Now, I decided to do this reading when I was somewhat drawn to it, when I was reading a little bit about the Sandringham estate. And I didn't know much about it. I didn't know the traditions, how many rooms are here. So I just wanted to have an idea of what it is that we're reading about. And that reading is somewhat gonna be after this reading, but I wanted to get this reading done only because there were so many odd similarities when I went to go pull up history on Princess Diana. Now, Princess Diana happened to be raised on this particular estate. I believe the home in which is there is a home that's still owned by her brother today. I believe his name is Charles Spencer. And Diana lived in this home with her family before her mother and her father divorced. And I believe the remains of her brother, who was 13 years old when he died, is also here. So they buried him on this particular estate as well. And I thought, thinking to myself, this estate has memories for the Spencer family, not just for the royals, but for the Spencer families as well. And I thought to myself, it's crazy that the Spencer siblings have to relive the shenanigans once again. And I was like, this is Princess Diana, grandchildren's mother that's missing. And I'm wondering, what are they thinking about William? What are they thinking about this happening here once again? It's like the trauma is repeating itself. So I went to go do a little bit of research, and I found out that Lady Sarah, Diana's sister, actually dated King Charles. I don't know if it was briefly, but she simply didn't want him, and she introduced him to her younger sister, Diana. Now, they had asked her basically, why didn't you marry Charles? And she stated that there was no chance that she would marry him. She said that I wouldn't marry anyone I didn't love. She also stated something about whether he was the dustman or the King of England. She ain't marrying him if she don't want him. And to be honest with you guys, I agree with her. I feel that you should marry who you want, right? So, amen to that one there, Sarah. But, I wonder how she feels today now that Diana kind of married him and that was her sister's story. I also found it very weird that we're now talking about notes, right? With Catherine and this magician that had a note in his palm, right? And we're like, is this note real? Was it a joke? Did he know something? And I started thinking to myself, well, I read about this man also, and he's a mind reader. So did he announce this to the public because he read her mind? And he's not just a mind reader, but he's one of the best mind readers in the world. So I was like, did he know something when he shook this woman's hand? I also found it very odd that Princess Diana has a note herself called the Mishcon note, which was given to her attorney, Lord Mishcon, who claims that he received this letter from Diana in 95, and she predicted that she would die in a staged car accident. Now, Lord Mishcon, her attorney, turned this note over to the police commissioner after her death, apparently, and they didn't take this seriously. So I was like to myself, okay, so these ladies have to write notes. And I was like, you know what? It's making sense because now I stumbled upon an article where Diana stated that after her divorce, her bedroom was being bugged. I believe a soldier found a bug in her wall. So I was like, Princess Catherine's out here writing jokes and notes in people's hands, and Diana's writing letters and giving it to her attorney about dying in a car crash, and we're not alarmed that something is wrong with Catherine? Some people are still sleeping? So I said to myself, I got to do a reading on the Spencers. Now, I saw some photos from this funeral, right, of Diana's, which was very sad. And I remember watching it like everyone did on television, but I was young. And honey, some of us were watching it before flat screen was a thing. So we don't even know what we've seen with all that rice and fuzz, honey. So right now, we got social media and we got some flat screens. So we're seeing a lot better. And I was surprised when I went back to look at these photos. And I was like, wow, I wonder if Diana had passed during social media era, what would be our reaction? Because I'm seeing photos like this. Now, this is a photo with Lady Sarah and Lady Jane and King Charles. And, you know, I'm going to let you guys draw your conclusion. What do you think about the body language? Now, this particular photo is what sent me. This photo was the photo with King Charles with no emotion, honey, William, Harry, and on the end there is Charles Spencer, Diana's brother. Now, I don't know a lot of things, but I know an angry man when I see one, and this man is enraged. So he didn't come to this funeral mourning. He came with anger, is what I see. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section. And there are so many other photos that we should pay attention to. But back then, we didn't really know, I don't think, because social media was somewhat controlled. So we're going to get into this reading. And I am going to read on the Spencers. I just find it crazy that all this stuff was somewhat hidden about notes with Diana, and we didn't know much. But I'm going to pick up the energy here on the Royals and the Spencers. What's the energy between them today? Okay. All right, Spirit, give me a couple cards for the Spencer family, the siblings, and the Royal family. How do they feel about King Charles, the Royal family in general, after the death of their sister? Any cards for their energy? Catherine is now missing. What do they feel about these people? Royal family. Spencers. The Royal family and the Spencers. Wow. Okay, I'll take those. All right, I'll go into another deck just to catch this energy. And then I'll share the cards with you all. All right, Spirit, give me some more cards based on the Spencers energy and the Royals. What's that family dynamic like these days? What's their energy towards them? Catherine's missing. Any energy here? All right. All right. Wow. I got all these cards here. So what I got out the first Oracle deck is basically how they feel, like the energy towards them. Now, I got some different things coming out of the energy. I got a glow up in terms of money and business opportunities, which is a possibility because they obviously, I just was saying that Charles Spencer has property on the Sandringham estate. And obviously Harry is still a part of their family, and so is William. So I can see where there might be businesses and they might still be doing business as families, but Spirit is also letting me know there is some legal and court papers. So I don't know if it has to do with property, but around their energy currently, there's some legal stuff, either legal stuff in the past, which is a possibility because of Diana and her passing. I don't know if there was things that Diana may have owned, they may have fought over on the quiet, but Spirit's letting me know paperwork, court, something of that nature. It might not even be court, it could be simple paperwork. They could feel like maybe the royals are selfish, maybe there's something that they feel they're owed based on their sister. Who knows, right? But I'm getting business energy and some legal stuff around them, either in the past or currently. Now, as for their feelings, it seems that once upon a time, they didn't really look at the royals a certain kind of way. Of course, they are, from what I read, aligned with the royals. So when I say the royals, I mean so like King Charles and that immediate family. It seems like after Diana's death, it kind of woke the siblings up. They had an epiphany. Something triggered them to kind of distance themselves from these people, which is obviously their sister's death. Now, this is the energy I have for them now. This is how they feel. Either they feel this way about King Charles or they feel this way about William, but they feel like the family is somewhat filled with a bunch of narcissists, egotistical, opportunists, and they think they're failures. This is how the Spencer family now looks at the royals. I'm now getting third-party karmics, haters, and lessons. So what this is giving me energy-wise is obviously the karmics, which is lessons learned. And they feel that the royals, maybe King Charles, that his time is coming, his karma is coming. But I'm also getting third parties as a way to also let me know how they connect. So they don't directly talk. So I'm pretty sure King Charles does not talk to Charles Spencer. If they talk, they probably communicate through the sons, as you know, William speaks to Charles, kind of thing. So I don't get that there's no more connection between King Charles. They don't talk to this man. I get the isolation, rejected, left alone, and self-inflicted energy. And what I'm picking up from this is Diana's energy and also the energy of how they interact with the royals currently. I get they feel that their sister was rejected. She was left alone. And the self-inflicted, what is giving me energy-wise, is maybe they kind of feel like their sister would be here. They feel like some of it, they feel like they're at fault for it. I don't know why that energy is coming to me, as if they're blaming their parents somewhat, or like it's almost like they're saying, we're kind of responsible. We take responsibility for her death also. There's something they feel, either they feel like there's something they didn't share with the world at the time, or they haven't shared with the world, but they feel like a part of it is self-inflicted. They know they're responsible, but it's almost like we hold some responsibility too as the Spencers for this. I got blocked, moved on, nothing to say, stop calling. So like I said to you all, this was the energy, the third party energy. We only talk through the kids. We only talk through Harry and William. There's no direct contact between the Spencers anymore. And, you know, them as a family. As they shouldn't, after all. King Charles married Camilla, right? So they moved on. They got nothing to say. They don't talk to each other. So that's the energy I picked up out of this deck. This is what came out of their energy in the other deck. Now, they gave me the card of Goddess, which represents Princess Diana. As you can see, the lady, beautiful blonde hair, somewhat wearing a crown. This is how they are giving me spirit-wise, their sister, the goddess. They're saying that she was watching. They were watching her. She was controlled. So the same Princess Diana was being watched. She was being controlled, which is what we were talking about in the beginning with the bug. Same thing Meghan Markle has been complaining about. They were saying that, they were strategizing, which could be the energy of her death. Them strategizing on how to remove her. The influence can also represent people from the outside, maybe being a bad influence on Diana, people just being in that situation in general, right? Influences could also represent Queen Elizabeth, because I heard that she was the one that kind of pushed them to get the divorce. So it could be a little bit of Queen Elizabeth, but not only that, but the influences can also represent at the time when Diana passed, they had said that the driver was under influences, which the family could feel that it's a lie, right? Because we don't know the in-depth of this story. There was so much being kept away from the public. I got the complicated situation. We want to help our sister, but we don't know how. People are controlling her. She's a royal woman now. People are controlling our sister, right? The goddess. People are controlling her. People are strategizing around her. She's telling us, but people are strategizing. This is a very hard thing to do. It's hard to help her. People are watching her. Helping her is complicated. To rescue her, help her, is the energy I'm picking up. I know this is what she wants. She wants balance. She wants open road. She wants to leave. She's been trying to leave these people. The road open. She's ready to go. Ready to hit the road. She's out of there. But no matter what, she's feeling stuck. She's stuck there. So this is the energy I'm picking up from them, and I'm going to keep these as references as we read. But they basically gave me a drop around Diana, even though I was asking the Spencers how they feel towards the royals. It seems like it's still in their energy very strong, as it should be. Because if you did that to my sister, I'm pretty sure I would still feel that way towards the royals. So they got a little bit of business, is what I'm picking up in this deck. They clearly consider Charles to be a narcissist, which is the card he seems to use a lot for William. So now it's coming out for him. The family's narcissistic. This is who they are. This is how the Spencers feel about them. There was some business stuff they had to get in order, paperwork. Don't know if it's property or whatever it is that they feel like the Spencers deserve from their sister's death. I don't know how that works. I don't know what Diana owned previously. So that's what I'm picking up, like business around them. So that's what I got for that energy. All right, so unfortunately, my microphone had died. So we're going to get into the next, which is the tarot. And I want to get into how Lady Sarah was feeling when she met King Charles. Like, what was that energy, and why did she introduce King Charles to Princess Diana, her younger sister? Like, what was the energy around that? So I'm going to shuffle up and see what I can find, guys. And see what we can find based on that energy. Did she really introduce them? What's the energy? Is it a regret of hers? Like, I just want to see what that energy is now for her. Lady Sarah Spencer, King Charles introducing Princess Diana, Princess of Wales. Any cards for that energy, Spirit? How does she feel now after this many years that she introduced her sister to this man? Any other cards, Spirit, for this energy? Lady Sarah Spencer, Princess of Wales' sister. How does she feel introducing Charles to her sister? Okay. Let's see what I got here. Okay. In just a second, you all. So what I got basically with the Two of Wands energy is there is accuracy to Lady Sarah not wanting to be with King Charles. And in a way, this is what I'm getting is with the Two of Wands, the Four of Cups is that energy of I don't want to do this and it's okay with me not going through this. I'm not satisfied with Charles. So that's what I'm getting energy wise. Like she was not impressed. And with the Queen of Wands, which kind of represents her younger sister, she's like, I'm gonna kind of introduce them. You know, he'll like her. She is the Queen of Wands. She's probably everything that I'm not. So maybe she felt like Charles was taking her out of her element and the things that maybe he was into or the kind of woman that he wanted, she didn't feel that she could be that at that time. I got the Hierophant energy, which is not only saying that based on looks, and style somewhat that she wasn't the woman, but with the Hierophant energy, which I'm getting right here, I'm getting traditional. So she knew that the royals had traditions that she was not willing to follow. I'm also getting the Fool card here in the reverse. And energy-wise, with the Fool card, what I'm getting is foolish and somewhat impulsive. So she felt the next thing that she did was introduce Diana to Charles was an impulsive thing. It was almost like, let me get him off my back. And I got the Seven of Cups with her for her energy, which a little bit, she wasn't really sure about the royal family, but she was young at that age. So she didn't really think she was damaging her sister by introducing. I don't even think she felt that it would go as far as it did. I'm going to shuffle some more cards and see if anything comes out of this energy. Any more cards for... wow. Okay, what else I got here? Okay. What else I got here? Okay, anything else for this energy, Spirit? Okay, yeah. I got the Judgment card, right? Her understanding that, you know, I was a fool. I was young at the time. It was something I wanted to do to get rid of this guy off my back. So with the Judgment card, it's like that needing for help. It was a fast decision. It was a decision that made. I realized after I had introduced her, I'm getting the Tower card, right? And with the Seven of Wands, I'm also getting, you know, now there's nothing I could do about it. I'm just going to turn my back away from this. So she didn't realize at first when she was introducing her sister that this would be a bad thing. She didn't know. She didn't know. It was one of those things where it's like, I don't want to be a part of the royal family because I'm not going to be traditional. I'm also not that girl that likes to be in the spotlight. So maybe she felt from a young age that her sister Diana was the pretty one, and maybe, you know, they would be better together. You know, I could see Diana being like that princess that everybody likes because she's so pretty. So she kind of did it as a thing of, I don't like this guy. Let me get him off my back and let me kind of pair him. But I don't also think she expected that relationship to go that far. Although I did read somewhere where they said for years it was rumored that King Charles would marry one of the Spencer girls. But I think she also didn't feel internally like it would have went far. So she didn't necessarily do it as a way to be malicious to her sister, I guess. she just dated him, and she didn't pick up on the signs back then either, but she was also very young. I don't know how much age bracket. I know Diana, they said she was 16, allegedly, I don't know, when she got engaged. So I don't know. You guys can let me know what you've heard, but that's what they're stating on in some articles. So I'm going to get into another question. And I'm going to see in the vibe deck what the sisters' opinions are of Charles right now. All right, Spirit, give me a couple cards for how they feel about Charles these days. Couple cards for Lady Sarah's energy towards King Charles these days. Like, what does she think now after everything that has occurred? What does she think about this man? Any more cards for this energy? Okay, so that's a few cards for Lady Sarah's energy. I'm going to get a few cards for Lady Jane's energy. Any cards for Lady Jane, the other sister? Lady Jane Spencer for Princess Diana's sister here. Energy towards King Charles. What does she think about him? What does she think about him in general, all these years? Because this is the energy. We just want to know what these women think of these men. Okay. Any other cards that she would use to describe this man? Lady Jane's energy. What she knows about them. What she feels. Okay. And then I'll flip them over and we'll go through them. Anything for that energy. All right. Wow. Okay. She says this about Charles. This is probably something she knew about him her entire time. This is Lady Sarah's energy. She says he's a leech, a clout chaser, seeks fame, after own self-interest. That would make sense. After his own self-interest. She said a poser. Fanning to get one's way and a suck up. So I kind of feel that this energy is accurate only because I feel like he did a lot of sucking up to his mother, Queen Elizabeth. I don't feel like he stood up, because I feel like if he had stood up all these years, he would have never married Diana, and Diana would have never had to go through what she went through. If he had just said straight up, Mom, I'm not marrying this woman, it would have saved her life, in my opinion. So the leech does apply, in my opinion, right? Someone after their own self-interest. I got hypnotic, under the influence, and can't think for themselves. So this card is a reference to me for Queen Camilla. Him not ever being able to think for himself. So maybe even back then they felt that Charles was being controlled by Camilla. I got poaching, trespassing by any means, taking what is not theirs. So she thinks that, you know, and it would make sense because I feel like after Diana divorced him, from what we're reading allegedly, it seems like he was still bothering her. I don't know what that was about. And that could be what that legal card is about as well. Based on the money in their divorce, I think she got like 20 million, which would have been like 40 million these days. But trespassing by any means, him not caring, just showing up, basically being intrusive to someone's personal space is what she's saying with this card. I'm also getting snatched, extremely too hot to handle, very attractive. So maybe back in his heyday, Lady Sarah, which would make sense, coming out of her energy, that she dated him briefly, she's saying this man is full of himself. He thought he was very attractive back then. I'm getting stilt-like, which was a card I got in the past to describe William and all his pieces. Stilt-like, take actions and steps towards something bigger without announcing. And it would make sense coming out of her energy due to the car crash. She's saying he's stealth-like, full of secrets, makes moves, and then people learn after. She's also saying gaslighting, psychological manipulation, and blames without reflecting. This is how she feels about him. Maybe the relationship he had with his sister. She's saying this man likes to gaslight. Now, as for the other sister's energy, what does she have to say here? She says he has behavioral issues, hostile and antisocial. She says he likes to finesse. He likes to manipulate. He's a trickster and a smooth talker, which is basically the same thing that the other sister's saying, is that this is who King Charles is. This is how they knew him in his heyday, honey. They say he likes to retaliate. He's very revengeful, vengeful, and spiteful to get others, which we know because Diana died after her divorce. So it makes sense that it's coming out of the siblings' energy that this man was very revengeful, which makes us also wonder what William was willing to do to Catherine if what I've been seeing in the cards is accurate and this woman has been wanting to leave. Now, same thing. Interesting, this card always pops up between William, and now I'm getting it for King Charles, the underdog. So she thought from back then, maybe from his mother, that energy of you're never going to be good enough to be king. This is the energy that William feels today. So I can see how this could be a similar thing in if King Charles felt he was an underdog back then, he may have thought he had something to prove, which is why Diana ended up suffering those horrible consequences in the end when she should be living a full and healthy life with her grandchildren. Now we're worried about Catherine, and we still got the same card, which is the underestimated and the overlooked. Nobody thinks you're capable of it. William, Charles. I got the on a mission, determined and focused. She said this man will get what he needs to be done. He's sneaky, but he'll get it done. And this is another thing, accusatory, believes someone has done wrong and points the finger. This could have been stuff that Lady Jane was being told by her sister, like, this man keeps accusing me of cheating on him. Even if Diana was not cheating, if Charles had low self-esteem, he may have accused her. And it wasn't really about love, it was about him being territorial. Because in the end, if we go back in history and we look, Diana divorced him. She walked away. She did not pass away as a married woman from what I read. So if there's accuracy to what I'm saying allegedly, and you guys can let me know, what was the meaning to do all of this to her in the end when she left you and gave you your freedom to be with Camilla? Why were you bugging walls? Why did she have to write a letter to her attorney? Like, what was all of this about when Queen Elizabeth told you to leave her alone? Like, why were all these things coming up after? Right? You had a little bit of an obsession with this woman. It wasn't about loving her. It was about controlling her, which is what came out of their energy in the beginning. The control. The controlling of the goddess, their sister. So this is what I got for the sisters' energy on how they think of this man. No good. No good. Gaslighting, what were some of the horrible cards that kind of came out? That would make us be like, wow, this man is very capable of stuff, right? We got the accusatory, the person always accusing someone. We got the retaliate, the person that's plotting to do evil to you once you've left them, right? Which was Diana. She left and he still retaliated. The finesse, the manipulator, the smooth talker. You think he's really good. We see a lot of those types of qualities in William. He'll get up on that thing and start talking, and I don't know what it is. I've seen a couple of press runs, and I'm just like, okay, you're really good with your words here, buddy. But yeah, finessing people, behavioral issues. If this is King Charles back then, this is definitely William today. And the gaslighting is what they had to say about this man with their sister. So that's what I'm getting in terms of that. Let's see what else I could really get into here. I'm going to see what the Spencer family here is feeling about Catherine's disappearance. What's the energy around this today? Like, how do they feel? Make sure none of this is flipped. But how do they feel about this stuff, kind of? Okay. Well, sometimes I get cards that are flipped and you guys probably see it. I notice it after I record my video, but I just want to make sure they're not flipped. Okay. So we're going to get into what they think about Catherine's disappearance right now. It seems very similar of a situation. It's probably triggering a lot of trauma. Okay. What do they think about Princess Catherine's disappearance? What do the Spencer siblings feel? What's around their energy? Are they worried about Catherine? Do they think she's okay? They don't contact the royals. They don't talk to them. But what do they think? What do they think about what happened at Sandringham Estate? Or Sandringham? Okay. What do the siblings feel? Spencer siblings? Lady Sarah, Lady Jane. And I'll just leave this one here. Okay. Wow, the first card I got here is change is coming. I got power and authority, new beginnings, protected from other people. And this is the gates. So they gave me the gates as a way to let spiritually for me to know, like, this is gated. What is going on and what's happening to Catherine here? They believe from this change will come. They know that this is being controlled by power and authority. They know that this situation is somewhat being protected, right? People are not able to get behind the gates. People are not able to do the proper investigation, is what's coming out of their energy. I got the trumpet, the speaking the truth, the change in direction, the resurrection for them, which is what I was saying to you all, that this has to resurrect some emotions in the royals, in the Spencers, because it's like reliving this and watching it being relived through someone else. But the worst part is it's happening to your sister's daughter-in-law, your sister's grandchildren's mother, right? Reliving this, the resurrection of this returning for them. I got the seed here. Basically, seed just referencing bad ideas, things not being prosperous, things with unpleasant outcomes. So they don't believe that what's going to come out of this is going to be a good thing. The seed that's going to be planted here is going to grow a tree of change, not change for the royals in a good way, but in a bad way. They think that the truth is going to come out. They don't feel that they're going to get away with this the way they did with their sister Diana. I got the lamp, which is gaining knowledge to make a decision. They feel that out of this, their dreams will be reached and fulfilled. Maybe the fulfillment of finally having these people exposed for who they are, them sitting all these years in quiet, in silence, maybe not feeling that they could do anything, being fearful, which is another thing why I say we got to think about the Middletons. Even though we know Carol can be a certain way, there's still that opening of fear, them protecting themselves for what the royals could do. But they feel that light is coming, with the lamp. People are shining light onto this situation with Catherine being missing. I'm also getting the hourglass. And this is crazy to say this, and I don't want to say this, but they gave me the hourglass in their energy. Old school ways of thinking. Time is running out. Death is near. Time is the enemy. This is the energy. They're saying the longer this goes on, the least the public will know, because the royals have time to cover up evidence, DNA maybe, whatever's in it, right? So what they're letting us know in this energy right here in the corners, you all can see, death is near. In their energy, what I'm picking up is the death, maybe physically or of change for Catherine, hopefully. But they don't think there is a good outcome behind this. With the clock, they're given the energy of be patient, make the best out of the situation, do not give up during the hard times, which is for them, this is a hard time, reliving this experience and watching Catherine be missing. Who knows? They're probably on the phone with Harry talking about this on a regular basis. And from what I read about Diana's situation, they said that a lot of the information after their mother's death was disclosed to Charles and Harry. So they had a good idea of what it was that happened to their mother from what I read. I got photographs, memories of a loved one, empower others through wisdom. So this is how they're looking at it. They're saying this is memories for us. This is memories of our loved one, Diana. And they're letting the world know, based on what it is that I'm pulling and sharing with you guys, that this stuff is gated. You can't get behind this to do the right thing as the public. You can't really do much because the authorities, the people in power, have put up a gate to keep us away from the truth on Catherine. So this is what's coming out of their energy in terms of what they think has happened to Catherine. And unfortunately, y'all, I hate to get cards like this, like I said, when I pull them, but with the hourglass and them letting us know it's a time thing. They're saying death is near, right? So I don't know if that's a death of her marriage or literal death, but they don't think there's a positive thing. It's like they've seen this before and they're kind of just waiting for the worst. So that's what I'm picking up out of the siblings energy. They don't really think that this is a great thing. They probably don't believe that cancer situation. I think at first when the news broke, I do believe I saw a comment where Charles Spencer gave his regards to Catherine, but he might have been caught up like the rest of us before he started realizing, like, hold on, this has been months and no one's seen this woman. Because I think he gave this statement like months ago when she announced it. Or right when that video came out. And to be quite honest, it doesn't seem like they have an everyday interaction with William. Not as much as I get from Harry, probably. So maybe when they heard it, they were like, well, we wish her the best of luck, which is kind of what Harry did also, wishing her the best of luck. But now I think Harry and the rest of them are going, oh no, something is wrong. Something's very wrong. What did William do? What has happened? So that's what I got based on that energy, that right now they think something is off. This is how they feel. And I'm going to ask one last question, if I may, here. Let's see here. I want to see what questions we can ask where we can really tap in there. Do they believe that Princess Diana's death, if Camilla had something to do with this? This is a very interesting question that I'd like to know. Do they think that Camilla has something to do with it? Because third parties is coming up, that energy of someone and influences. So we'll see, because Camilla could have, let me just make sure you all that. Okay. Make sure nothing is flipped in here. Okay. Because Camilla's been around for a little while. And I feel like she's an influence on Catherine's marriage. So I'd like to see what they think about Camilla. And Princess Diana's death. If Charles was somewhat talked into participating, pushing, or whatever it is, or staging this thing as this letter claims. All right, Spirit, give me some cards for this energy. You've given me one. Did Camilla, there we go. Did Camilla help to talk Charles into this situation of perhaps staging this car accident? Was she jealous of Diana and want her gone completely? Did she do this for her image so that she'd look better as queen one day, because that was always her plan? What's the deal with that? Does she... One last card, Spirit. Or is she innocent, have nothing to do with this? Okay, let me flip these cards. Yeah. Yeah, all the cards are screaming it right now. I got the Justice card showing up. Right? That one day Camilla actually might be exposed for participating in this. I'm getting the Workers card somewhat in the reverse here. So I got the Eight of Pentacles showing up here. Given the misdirection energy towards Charles. Right here, I got the Seven of Wands. Being a bit strong-willed and kind of pushing Charles in that direction, like, you need to do something. I'm going to be queen one day. If she's possibly alive, it's going to make me look bad because people are going to pay attention to her and prefer her to want to be queen. Because it seems like Diana had this energy about her where she was a pretty woman, and even her sister knew that she had that star quality, and maybe that's why her sister introduced King Charles. She thought Diana would be perfect to be queen versus me, kind of thing. So I can see where Camilla might have been a bit jealous. I got the Illusion, which is the moon coming in. And here, what I got here is basically the Eight of Swords, right? So with that particular energy, what I'm getting here, my apology, the Eight of Swords. What I'm getting here is Charles somewhat feeling powerless and having to follow through. And then the Devil, which is the action itself, to do the horrific thing, right? To feel in bondage and being forced into doing something. So Camilla had she might have not necessarily been the one to plan it out, but she was kind of pushing Charles in that direction of, we got to do something about Diana. So I want to pick up on that energy, but she did. In the past, she did. This is why Charles kept on going even after the divorce. And this is why I see these legal papers coming in and this business stuff, because this might have been what was sitting around the family at the time. Money, paperwork. And that probably followed through up until after her death. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a last reading, a question, and I'm going to see what's around that particular letter. Whether the attorney ever received it, Mr. Victor Mishkon, and see if I can find out any information on whether this letter was even a real letter, just like we're trying to figure out whether Catherine's note was ever a real one. All right, Spirit, give me some cards letting me know whether or not communication of Diana's death was given to Lord Mishkon, her attorney at the time, Princess of Wales. Any cards? Communication. What was she thinking at the time? A letter wrote in 95. One more card for that energy. Princess Diana, her letter. What did she write? One last card. I'll get one last card. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to take one couple more cards and then we'll be done. You all just wanted to see what this emotions are around the Spencers before we get into Princess Catherine and her read. How they feel about this. All right, Spirit. This card seems to represent... Oh, wow. Any more energy on this? The letter given to Princess Diana. Did she give a letter to her attorney? Did she give a letter to her attorney, Spirit? Okay, I got a response. Okay. So basically the cards that came out when I shuffled and pulled, as you all seen, was the Empress in the reverse. I had the Tower in the upright. And we had the Two of Swords in the reverse. So the question that I was somewhat trying to get at energy-wise and what was sitting around it was the energy of the attorney and Diana. And did she give a letter? Did she feel like she was in trouble? Like what that energy was there. So as I said earlier in my reading, when we were doing a question around Sarah's energy, her sister, Lady Sarah, Sarah gave me this card in the upright to reference Diana and how she looked at Diana. Spirit is now giving me the same card for Diana in the reverse. So this card usually represents a woman that's very confident, very beautiful, motherly, nurturing, just everything that embodies feminine qualities. And now we have it in reverse representing her, which is her somewhat feeling fearful, vulnerable, insecure about something. I got the Tower card here in the upright representing the chaos, the inevitable that would have occurred, and the divorce, the separation between her and her husband. I got the Two of Swords energy, which is I stopped, I'm paying attention, I'm looking around, I'm looking at all the signs around me. And I have warnings, and I have to let off warnings. And for her, that was writing that letter and giving it to her attorney. Who knows, maybe it was something she wanted to do because she knew that one day it would happen like she predicted. And maybe she wanted her sons to know. And her family, her siblings. I got the Pipe card for her out of the spiritual deck. And the Pipe card represents being independent into your older age. So energy-wise, what I'm picking up for Princess Diana around the attorney's energy was she was very confident. You know, like a lot of divorce attorneys, they kind of bond. And I don't know if he handled her divorce, but he was her attorney. So I'm sure she explained a lot of what she wanted out of life with him. And him being aware of looking into her finances, helping her getting the most for her money through her legal court cases. She probably said, you know, I'm okay with growing older without a man. I just want to have my finances together and make sure I leave with enough out of this divorce so that I can provide for myself and my children. So Spirit's letting me know she was really set on maybe just, you know, leaving this world without being married ever again, if that was how it had to be. I'm getting the balloon energy for her. her saying that, I'm okay with being alone because energy wise, full of empty promises. My marriage was full of empty promises. Spirit's also letting me know how fragile she is. So this is the pipe card here. Independent into like your older age somewhat. And the balloon being full of hot air promises, somewhat getting back on the dating market and being fragile. I got the cloud representation for her in this deck, energy wise, where Spirit's letting me know that she was finding her clarity, she had goals, and she was making choices for herself finally. That was probably right before she passed away, when she had divorced or was going through the divorce. I got the briefcase energy, which is delayed payments. So I don't know if that goes with the legal card, you all, but remember in the beginning when I did the oracle drop, I was getting a legal card, right? Here it is. So I'm wondering if during the time of her divorce, if Charles was being funny with money, like he wouldn't send her alimony or something. You guys can let me know if you heard anything about Charles and how he behaved when she was filing a divorce. But Spirit's letting me know like delayed funds are somewhat here, like somewhat that William energy, like I was picking up with Catherine, like I don't want her to get anything kind of energy. Like I don't want her to get no money out of me. And I'm going to be very painful as this process is. I'm going to be as painful as I need to be instead of making a smooth process kind of thing. And also with the briefcase energy in the reverse, there is the fearful, which would make sense because she had basically wrote that letter to her attorney. So it was fearful, for the possibility of losing her life. She thought that she would die in a staged car accident. Now, I believe it. When I'm seeing in my cards, I believe she wrote something. I don't know if it was the exact of the stage car accident, but I believe she more than likely wrote a letter stating or something, whether it's a phone call, but she communicated some way to her attorney that her life was in danger or she felt that way. Now, I got a beautiful card for Princess Diana, which is like the crown, which represents her and what she would be, queen. And Spirit is letting me know that with the crown energy, regardless of whether she stayed married to King Charles or not, she would have been, victorious. She would have been glorious. Okay, she would have been all that, honey, is basically what the crown card is giving. It's saying that she was ready to start her life. New relationships would have been coming her way. And we know that she was dating a gentleman. I think he passed away in the car with her. So she was moving on, girl. She was not sitting around waiting for Charles at all. And she was concerned about her material wealth coming in, which kind of goes with the briefcase, these delayed payments, which is, I'm wondering legally if this is what some of this fighting is about. Not sure. And Spirit is saying she would have had status. So if Princess Diana had lived and she never went back to Charles ever, she still would have been relevant till this day. She would have still been given the girls, honey, what needed to be given, is basically what they're saying. She'd have still had status. So she didn't need Charles or the royal family for it. I guess back then people were so into her that she would have kind of aged in that relevance where people would just still be fascinated with what's going on with her and maybe watching her with her grandchildren now, kind of thing. So this is what I get from the reading when it comes to Princess Diana. And yeah, like the letter, Spirit is letting me know, like, I don't know if it's a letter for certain, but he did get some form of communication that she was in danger, that she didn't feel comfortable, allegedly. And Spirit is saying here from the original drop with the Goddess card, representing her with the blonde hair, like I stated earlier, and the crown, the queen, the goddess. This is how her siblings felt, like she was being watched. She was being controlled by them. The influences, maybe not even be able to get direct contact with her sisters, always people in the middle. Kind of what I seen around George's energy, with the influences, people in between, people being guarded, controlling a situation a bit. And like I said, the strategizing, right? Planning what they're going to do with the accidents, as we all know, the accident, the tunnel. And if she did write that, she felt that this would have been something they would have planned. Her family knowing the situation is complicated, probably something the Middleton family might understand now, that this is complicated. So who knows what's going on with Carol, how she's really feeling. I haven't done a recent reading on Carol, but complicated helping your family member once they're in that situation, in that family. Really nothing you can do, right? You can't call law enforcement kind of thing. So what do, right? Clearly, they're alleging that the attorney gave Diana's letter to the police commissioner, and we see how that went, right? Feeling stuck in this marriage, feeling stuck to the royal family. And what I find crazy is, like, I can't help but to feel it energy wise, even King Charles right now, like, these royal men don't want you to get away with their money. I don't know how to say this, but energy based on what I'm picking up, like, I can't help it. It's like, if ladies marry into this family, understand you're not leaving with any money. You're not leaving with anything. They will rather you meet your maker, honey, before you get $1 out of them. It's I can't explain. But hopefully everything with Catherine changes, and the Spencers are right, and somehow the truth is revealed. They did give me 2 intense cards, which was the gates that we have, the gates representation, the Buckingham Palace and all these palaces, the gates in which the public cannot go beyond. We cannot demand more. We know something is wrong. The unnecessary barriers is what they gave in this energy. The unnecessary barriers between the public and the royals, people not being able to speak up and things be done about this situation. And then, unfortunately, in their energy, and these are all the cards we asked around Catherine, whether they thought Catherine was okay. Were they worried? Are we concerned about nothing? And I got hourglass, old school ways of thinking. Time is running out. Death is near. Time is the enemy turned upside down. And again, I'll just read that quickly. Hourglass, old school ways of thinking. Time is running out. Death is near. Time is the enemy turned upside down. So this is the card that came out of their energy. Death is near. Everything's turned upside down. Time basically being the enemy. Everything old school ways. Living in the 1600s. Old school. Really old school. And their energy of feeling like death is near. Some transformation is near. So let me know what you all think about this reading. And thank you all for bearing with me. I know I had a bit of editing to do with this video. I'm getting used to this YouTube stuff, guys. And sometimes microphones and cameras and batteries, they start to do a lot of crazy things. So, but I think I'm getting better at this, I think. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this reading. Let me know what you think about Catherine and Diana's situation, how similar it is. Did you learn something or 2 from this reading about Diana. I learned a lot from reading about her. Things I didn't know, things I didn't pay attention to back then. You know, things that they didn't share with us. What do you think about the photos I shared in the beginning of the siblings at the funeral? If you had saw those photos back in the day, what would you think? Did you see the anger in the brother, or what do you guys think? Give me your opinion on the body language there. And if you like my video and you're interested in seeing me do the reading on Catherine's and the ambulance and all that and the estate, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate all of it. And I'll be back, guys, with some celebrity stuff, some more royal readings this week. I'm going to try my best to get some stuff out because I haven't really been on it the way I should be. So until next time, guys, bye-bye.